Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Commonwealth Observer Group optimistic on peaceful conduct of elections in Nigeria. Presidential candidates in last-minute push ahead of Saturday's polls. DPO, 2 others killed in yet another attack in Anambra. And on the foreign scene, U.S. announces $100 million in earthquake relief funding for Turkey and Syria. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour tonight. I am Eugenia Abu. Members of Commonwealth Election Observers Group for the 2023 Nigeria's election have arrived the country to monitor the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections slated for Saturday. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the group led by former South African President Thabo Mbeki harps on the need for peaceful, transparent, credible, and inclusive election that will meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people. Here's that report.
The Commonwealth Observer Group is in Nigeria for the 7th time since the return of democracy in 1999. Comprising of eminent personalities from around Commonwealth countries, the group has a mandate to observe and assess the pre-election period, activities on polling day and the post-election period.
Throughout, we'll consider all factors relating to the credibility of the electoral process. We'll assess whether the elections are conducted according to the standards of democratic elections to which Nigeria has committed itself, including the constitutional framework and national legislation, as well as Commonwealth and other international commitments. As we undertake this assessment and conduct our duties, we will be objective, independent, and impartial.
The group is expected to visit selected states of the Federation such as Kano, Sokoto, Lagos, Ondo, Edo, Rivers, Benue, and Abuja and submit recommendations for future improvement of the process.
The Commonwealth Observer Group has no executive role. Our function is not to supervise, but to observe the process as a whole and to form a judgment accordingly. We are here in our individual capacities as eminent and experienced Commonwealth citizens, and as such our assessment will be our own and not that of any Commonwealth member government or organization.
The Commonwealth Observer Group is equally keen in ensuring the implementation of its previous recommendations with a view to entrenching democratic governance amongst member states. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In a bid to have a violence-free atmosphere for elections, the Nigeria Police has trained men and officers of the force expected to play roles in curbing election violence in Nigeria as it affects the upcoming 2023 general elections. Over 300,000 policemen will be deployed for the presidential and National Assembly elections on Saturday. Newell Sampson reports that the training is holding at the International Conference Center, Abuja.
Election security is an integral part of electoral process and hence the importance attached to training of policemen who are expected to ensure a peaceful atmosphere for voters and election officials.
We are to police the election from those who believe that they can behave as adversaries, those who either do not want the election to take place or are all out to sabotage the process. And second, we are to also create an enabling environment for Nigerians who want to exercise, who want to take active part in choosing their leaders, to have a conducive environment to come out and vote for the leaders of their choice.
Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of training, Hafiz Mohammed, said the essence of the training is to keep personnel abreast of the responsibilities.
It is true that having a conference like this has to do with creating an enabling environment for us to brainstorm on what is needed. All of us, it is an impact that we all know our responsibilities when it comes to conducting the election. This is not the first time, this is not the second time. We've been tested, but in few days to come, all of us here, our collective will and our responsibilities will be tested. So we need to bring all our past experiences and what we have learned before and what we are going to learn here.
The Nigeria Police Force reiterates resolve of officers and men to provide conducive environment for violence-free 2023 general elections. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the meantime, the Police Service Commission has replaced the former director of the Civil Society Directorate of the Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Hajia Naja'atu Muhammad, as one of the coordinators that will supervise conduct of police officers during the forthcoming general elections. Her removal came barely 5 hours after the ruling APC protested her inclusion among 45 coordinators who will monitor the conduct of the police officers on election in the northwest region of the country on February the 25th presidential and National Assembly elections. The Commission had assigned Muhammad as one of the coordinators who would supervise the conduct of police officers' affairs, but the Director of Public Affairs and spokesman of the APC Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, in a statement on Monday said she should be withdrawn immediately. Keyamo stated in the statement that the appointment was not only callous, but insensitive, openly confrontational, and consequently unacceptable by the Tinubu-Shettima Presidential Campaign Council. The Commission immediately bowed to pressure, saying it had asked the former Assistant Inspector General of Police, Bawa Lawal, retired, who is from the same geopolitical zone with Commissioner Naja'atu, to take over the coordination of the monitoring of police conduct in the zone. A spokesman of the Commission, Ike Chukwuani, told Trust TV that the Commission will always be sensitive to the wishes of Nigerians and will continue to contribute its quota to the sustenance of the nation's democracy. The permanent voter card is an instrument that enables eligible voters exercise their civic and democratic right to elect leaders in an election. In this report, Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman examines the potency of PVC as a powerful tool that voters hold to hire and fire political leaders, thereby enhancing and strengthening democratic governance in Nigeria. The report.
According to Collins English Dictionary, voter card is the instrument that enables a person to register to vote in an election. There is an existing notion that what a weapon does to a soldier in the front line or a plug to a farmer is akin to what a voter card does to an electorate. In Nigeria, there is what is termed as permanent voter card, PVC, which, like in the general definition, enables registered voters exercise their civic right to vote in the general elections.
The PVC is the power that every man has. When you have your PVC, you will vote for whosoever you want to vote for.
Because vote is our power. We actually needed to do that because this time around we want to take the power by our hands.
Considered the strongest instrument to elect leaders in any democracy, the current permanent voter card replaced what is then known as temporary voter card in use, in line with ongoing transformation of the electoral process. It began with the introduction of smart card reader by the Tahiru Jega-led INEC and deepened by the introduction of bimodal voter accreditation system, otherwise known as VBAS, by the current election management body.
It should be accessible. All you need to do to go to a computer, fill your local government, fill your details, 1 or 2 details inside the PVC. Put it in, you understand? If there is a level, there is a way you can sign in computers, then you put it in.
INEC should try to make it more liberal, not in one small office where thousands of people will be gathered. They should make it more liberal, open more centers.
Because of the way things go in this country, many people that are supposed to go out there and even register in the first place, they are hindered, they have their reservation that they are reluctant. They don't want to be pushed here and there, especially the elderly.
These transformations have over time built the confidence of the electorates and tackled the traditional challenges of ballot snatching, stuffing that have characterized previous exercises. Though imagined challenge of vote trading by desperate politicians and poverty-stricken electorate poses a great threat to the impact of the voter's card in the enthronement of credible leadership. Notwithstanding, the potency and impact of voter card to an eligible voter cannot be toyed with, especially in the face of growing credible leadership question. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And still talking politics and activities on the political terrain, the presidential candidate of New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has pledged to build 500,000 classrooms in various primary schools across the country within 4 years. He stated this when he paid a courtesy call on the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, at his palace in Zaria. Kwankwaso, who was accompanied on the visit by the state governorship candidate of the party, Suleiman Hukoyi, said it was part of the party's manifesto to enhance easy access to elementary education. He boasted that NNPP is the only political party whose presidential candidate has stepped into over 500 local governments in the country by road to get first-hand information on the state of affairs and problems bedeviling each community. Responding, the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, appreciated the visit and prayed for good leadership for the country after the elections. He identified insecurity as a major problem of people in his domain and the country at large, and urged politicians to make security issues their top priority when voted into power. The presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, has vowed to end unemployment among youth through the provision of skilled labor. Obi stated this when he and his running mate Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed visited the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, at his palace in Zaria. The presidential hopeful said the North boasts of vast fertile land which is not adequately harnessed, and assured that one of his priorities would be to provide the needed support to revive agriculture in the region for self-employment. And earlier, the vice presidential candidate Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed said the visit was a homecoming for him and enjoined the electorate to massively vote for the party to shift Nigeria from consumption to a productive nation. Responding, the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, tasked politicians to play the game according to the rule and urged them to sensitize their supporters on the need for a peaceful and hitch-free conduct of the 2023 election.
First is that we'll start with agriculture. By massive agricultural production will lead to industrialization and basically for export. We'll support agriculture in the true spirit of it, starting by reviving the background industry and making sure, and then supporting the micro small businesses that are scattered everywhere. Our commitment is to put people out of poverty in the north.
Coming to Zaria is very much appreciated. We know the trouble you've gone through before getting here. So we're indeed very, very grateful for the visit. And we wish you every success in your endeavor. And we pray, for a very peaceful election. And we keep praying that God will come, to rescue the situation.
Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi visiting the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali. Presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party, ZLP, Dan Wanyanwu, has promised to run an all-inclusive government if elected president. The ZLP presidential candidate stated at a campaign town hall meeting in Lafia, Nasarawa State. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report as presented from our studio.
Addressing the gathering, the Zenith Labour Party presidential candidate Dan Wanyanwu said if Nigerians elect the party at the presidential election, the style of governance will be all-inclusive, as everybody will be given the opportunity to contribute to the success of the administration.
No Nigerian will be left in our government. Everybody, people like you that are educated, you will be given something to do. If you don't have skills, we will let you have skills, even for those who are not educated. It is not everybody that will get PhD. It's not everybody that will be a graduate. Myself, I will be professor. But for those that went to school, they'll be given an opportunity to work. Those that want to go into business, if you look at our manifesto, we have provision for them. Those who could not go to school, we provide them skills. Everybody must have something to do.
He said allowing participation of all in governance of the nation will help cut the activities of few Nigerians who use the instrumentality of power to siphon the country's resources and assured of boosting the state's minerals sector for the benefit of all.
Nasarawa will not just be a place for solid minerals by mouth. We will bring it into fruition. We will create jobs. We will make this place more stable. From power to being a state that can even produce on their own. You will answer state of solid minerals. Am I correct? That's what you answer. Where are the solid minerals? We are going to bring them out, turn them into dollars for the development of the state.
While promising to make sure that the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, does not exceed 100 naira per litre, the ZLP presidential candidate expressed support for the recent naira redesign policy of President Muhammadu Buhari. He pleaded with Nigerians to be patient with the policy as it means well for the nation's economy.
A coalition of civil society organizations is alleging that the events that followed the Naira redesign policy in the last few weeks appear to be an orchestration of a political template aimed at undermining the very foundation of the nation's existence. The coalition stated this at a press conference in Abuja. Madia Umar reports.
The press conference is to address some challenges that came with the Naira redesign policy as its faulty implementation by the government continues to explore ordinary Nigerians to more hardship.
It needs to be emphasized that the Naira redesign exercise has exposed the poor thinking in implementation, resulting in avoidable scarcity of the redesigned denominations of the currency, 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes respectively.
They are worried that some governors have chosen to seize the moment to pursue their agenda while claiming to act in the interests of the people.
Nigerians should not be deceived by these people who have no regard and respect for the rule of law. Many of them have continued to disobey court order ending in their state. Many of them, they are so intolerant that a simple criticism of their policy will land some young people into jail. They've been doing that. So therefore, as far as we are concerned, they cannot come and deceive Nigerians. However, we believe as responsible, patriotic Nigerians, we have every duty to ensure that Nigerians are not, punished as a result of the anti-people policies of this country.
This is a clear deception. There may be a hidden agenda somewhere which we don't want to play into. We don't want to give them that grant because at the end of the day, they will still be the beneficiaries. We know what happened. Look at the trajectory from the military to now. So that is why we are careful in choosing the fight we want to fight.
To safeguard democracy and protect the working and living conditions of the masses, the groups made some demands.
The federal government has said that a few governors and other politicians are keeping billions of old Naira notes in well-known places. Instead of imposing collective punishment on hapless Nigerians, the federal government should direct security and anti-graft agencies to remove the sums of money allegedly kept in the homes and offices of the few politicians. Instead of putting hundreds of millions of Nigerians into discomfort. For us, it is unacceptable and we hereby condemn it.
The call on the presidency to uphold the rule of law and to avoid taking steps that will undermine the system of separation of powers among the three arms of government. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is News Hour on Trust TV. We take a break now. We'll be back shortly. Stay.
Hi, my people, reason this thing now. When PDP day, our country be safe. Naira strong, economy they grow. Fuel 7 naira, rice 8,000. Our life in better. Oh, when change people come, no work, no food, economy for gutter. I got borrow, battery foot down, Japan left and right, Sapa up and down. No need to gamble, say choice. PDP don't come, say choice. Recover Nigeria, say choice. We don't tire to suffer, say choice. Experience mind, say choice. We don't want experiment, say choice. Get them right, say choice. This time our life, oh, say choice. Recover Nigeria, say choice. Atiku that demand, oh, say choice. Atiku and Okowa, say choice. Are the only choice, oh, say choice.
Vote the safe choice to recover Nigeria.
PDP!
Power to the people! Now PDP Presidential Campaign Council sponsor this message.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. Gunmen in the early hours of Monday attacked the Isiowulu police station, Awada, in Idemili North local government area of Anambra State, killing the divisional police officer and 2 others. The hoodlums, in their numbers, reportedly stormed the police facility at about 18 minutes past 2 in the morning and engaged the police officers in a gun duel. The police, with the help of the military men, reportedly repelled and killed 3 of the hoodlums during the attack. The DPO, a newly recruited constable, and 1 inspector were the victims. The attack comes less than 24 hours after gunmen attacked the 3-3 Police Divisional Office in Oyi Local Government Council, where about 6 of the hoodlums were killed. 2 AK-47 rifles were recovered from them, alongside the vehicles used for the operation. Presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party, ZLP, Dan Wanyanwu, has promised to run an all-inclusive government if elected president. The ZLP presidential candidate stated this at a campaign town hall meeting in Lafia, Nasarawa State. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio. We already have seen some portions of that story. We move on now. The Nigerian National Committee of the International Press Institute, IPI, wants the Nigerian government and all security agencies in the country to respect the constitutional right of journalists to freely cover and report on the general elections commencing this Saturday without obstruction or impediment. IPI writes separate letters to heads of all security organizations in the country and the electoral management body, reminding the agencies that just as they are duty-bound to ensure the elections are conducted peacefully, journalists are also under duty to keep the public informed. A press statement signed by IPI Nigeria Secretary Ahmed Shekarau quoted the organization's president and legal officer as stating that when journalists cover elections, they're performing a constitutional duty. The letters, jointly signed by the IPI Nigeria president Musiki Lumujid and its legal and advocacy officer Toby Shoni, were addressed to the Inspector General of Police, the Director General State Security Service, the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Chief of Defense Staff. Similar letters were written to the Minister of Information and Culture, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, as well as the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In our series on presidential candidates, Usman Balarabe profiles APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu. Take a look.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a renowned Nigerian politician, a national leader, and an accountant by profession. He served his country under different political positions, as well as worked in the Nigerian public sector and with various international private organizations. Born in the year 1952 in Osun State, Tinubu obtained his primary school education from St. John's Primary School in Aruleya, Lagos, and Children's Home School in Ibadan, southwestern region of Nigeria. He later moved to the United States of America, where he enrolled at Richard J. Daley College in Chicago and also bagged a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration with major in accounting from Chicago State University in the year 1979. Before declaring his intention to pick the nomination form in 2022 for the presidency and eventually becoming the All Progressive Congress APC party's presidential candidate for the 2023 elections, Tinubu was a two-term former governor of Lagos State and has been the national leader of the APC party since its formation in 2013.
We can create wealth. We will create wealth. We will turn Nigeria hand. It will be our Eldorado. God bless you. God bless you.
He was one time elected as the representative of the Lagos West constituency in the Senate during the short-lived Nigerian Third Republic. After the 1999 Nigerian coup d'etat headed by the then defense minister, Sani Abacha, Tinubu was exiled in 1994 and came back to Nigeria in 1998 after the death of Sani Abacha. Known with his popular slogan, Emilokan, which is slightly translated as "It is my turn," Tinubu and many Nigerian politicians claim that he served as the major force that brought President Muhammadu Buhari into power in 2015.
I was lucky. I met Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. We discussed. He was calling me consensus. And I told him that if you were in PDP, we would have just given you the ticket because we knew that without you, Buhari wouldn't have been a president. And so in PDP, we recognize contribution.
During the flag-off of APC presidential campaign in Jos Plateau State capital, President Muhammadu Buhari had also pledged to work for the election of Tinubu as his successor in the 2023 elections.
I therefore want to assure all party members and supporters of our government that I will be at the forefront of this campaign.
As the 2023 general elections is expected to hold on 25th February, Tinubu and 17 other presidential candidates are jostling for the position of the presidency.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, hurdles brown sugar producers face. Do stay with us.
At last, the elections are here. Let's turn out en masse on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria for a renewed hope and a better Nigeria. Vote APC, the party that shows a broom.
part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening.
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the
Really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at
Thank you for rejoining us. This is News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Commonwealth Observer Group optimistic on peaceful conduct of elections in Nigeria. And presidential candidates in last-minute push ahead of Saturday's polls. Moving now to other stories. The Federal High Court in Lagos has granted an injunction restraining the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from engaging or further dealing with the chairman of the Lagos Parks and Garages, Musiliu Akinsonya, popularly known as MC Oluomo, or any of his representatives in the distribution of election materials and ad hoc staff for the forthcoming polls in the state. Justice Chukwujeku Aneke granted the injunction following an application filed by the Labour Party and its governorship candidate in the state, Gbadebo Rhodes Vival. INEC was absent at the proceedings, even though lawyer to the Labour Party told the court that the commission was served with the court papers. The Jama'atu Izalatil Bidda Waikamatu Suna has called on Nigerians, especially Muslim Ummah across the country, to conduct themselves in a responsible manner during the upcoming general elections. The group made the call at the closing of its 30th National Annual Seminar in Jos, Plateau State. Ado Musa completes the report.
With a theme, electing righteous people of integrity is the basis of a successful society. The meeting focused on the importance of choosing leaders that have the fear of God. The group said, mixing of religion and politics is an impediment to progress and development. Therefore, Nigerians should only elect credible leaders who will work for the interests of the masses. According to the national chairman, the only way for Nigerians to move forward is for the electorates not to allow selfish politicians to divide the country along religious lines. Allah says we should always come together as one entity, speak with one voice, and never allow anything that will divide us. It is when we come together, then we will be able to achieve our desired goal. As such, I call on all of you to unite. The Islamic cleric also admonishes Nigerians to vote only politicians who are ready to work and are sincere. There are people who are very deceptive. Don't associate with them. I urge you to be sincere with one another, as Allah is not happy with those deceiving others for their surreptitious objectives. In his remark, the Gombe State Governor, Alhaji Inuwa Yahaya, represented by Commissioner of Youth and Development, Abubakar Aminu, called on Nigerians to vote reliable leaders who will work for the interests of the country. We pray that Allah should help us elect good leaders who can serve the masses rather than serving themselves. We pray that the 2023 exercise will be conducted peacefully. The group, however, said Nigeria should be about leadership, character, audacity to think, the ability to solve problems, and leaders that will unite rather than choose those that do not have the plight of masses at heart. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
In a similar development, Federation of Muslim Women's Association of Nigeria, FOM1, Osun State Chapter, has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to address all encumbrances that may hinder women's participation in the forthcoming elections. While appealing to women to troop out to vote for candidates of their choice, FOM1 also charged security agencies to ensure safety of electorate during the exercise. Hamid Oyegbade files this report.
Leaders and members of the Federation of Muslim Women's Association of Nigeria, Osun State Chapter, held special prayers for God's intervention so that the 2023 general elections in Nigeria will be peaceful. The association urged women to troop out on Saturday to cast their ballot. FOM1 warned women not to sell their votes during the elections.
All women, all Muslim women are enjoined to vote Lillahi wa Rasulihi. We should not set our vote. Selling of vote is sinful. It's against Islamic laws. So we must not sell our vote. We must not sell our conscience. We must not trade our vote for either for rice or for beans or even for turkey.
Riyike Pade Omishakin, the National Orientation Agency's Community Orientation and Mobilization Officer for Osogbo Local Government, educated the Muslim women on their roles during the elections.
Women, we know we are very active politically, but sometimes our activeness is just in our rooms. So as now we are here to call on everybody to sensitize them on the need for all the women. As long as they have their PVC, they should come out to vote en masse. All should go to their respective polling booths to cast their vote to the candidates that they desire.
Form 1 appealed to INEC to remove all encumbrances that may prevent women from participating in the exercise. They demanded separate queues for female and males to prevent mingling of men and women during the elections.
They should wake up very early, get the breakfast very early on the table, and ensure they go out to vote. And ensure that they pick a line, women to line up on one side and the men on one side. They should ensure that they go out to vote.
The Muslim women said they are ready to vote on Saturday, promising to raise awareness among other women to participate in the elections. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Away from the 2023 elections now, brown sugar production, locally known as Mazar Kwaila, is a lucrative business in Kaduna State and parts of northern Nigeria. The production of brown sugar thrives largely in the rural communities. The business is suffering from lack of modern production machines. In this special report, Trust TV's Bello Musa spent time with brown sugar production communities living between Kaduna and Katsina State, who lament a lack of modern farm inputs and no support from government to improve sugarcane production to support their business.
These are communities located in Kaduna, bordering Katsina State. Their main occupation is farming. Sugarcane is one of the major farm produce grown around here. Production of Mazar Kwaila, which is made from sugarcane, has been a lucrative business for these communities for decades. In the past, they used hose to go around and in the process squeeze the sugarcane to produce the liquid for brown sugar or Mazar Kwaila production. But now, motorcycles have taken over from hose as it goes round the machine to squeeze the sugarcane and extract the liquid. Buhari Usman and Magaji Abba have been in the production of Mazar Kwaila for over a decade. We used to call sugar Rawandoki, but now we are using machine to squeeze the sugar cane. We plant it here on the farm during dry season, and when the sugar cane is ripe, we bring our machine to the farm and start the production. Boiling the liquid is a critical stage of the Mazar Kwaila production, and producers said the business is paying them. We have recorded success in the Mazar Kwaila production. We got married from this business and take care of my children and pay their school fees. We have migrated from using horse to motorcycles. This is a great achievement. On daily basis, they produce 5 of these pots due to non-availability of modern machine to squeeze the sugarcane to extract the liquid. Our machines are old. We inherited them from our fathers. Besides, we have to take them to Zaria or Kaduna for repairs when they develop faults. Our ambition is to buy modern machine for the production of sugar, but we don't rely on government. It takes 15 to 29 minutes on motorcycles from the main road to these communities, but people come from far and near to buy mazar kwaila. We sell the brown sugar at Danja, Bakori in Katsina, and Kaduna State, as well as other locations in Nigeria. This species of this sugar cane is planted in the rainy season and harvested during dry season. With the fertile land and the commitment of the farmers here, they could do more if only provided with fertilizer and dam for irrigation farming.
Muna samun kalubale yanayin rayuwa, tsadar rayuwa na taki saboda taki ya riga ya tsada.
Fertilizer is costly this year. We bought a bag at 25,000 naira, and we need a dam to allow us to grow sugar cane throughout the year. Zage-zage, Yakaji, Unguwar Sambo, Fankawa and other communities on Katsina-Kaduna boundaries are sugarcane farmers and brown sugar producers. They said if provided with modern farm input and other supportive implement, they could not only produce sugarcane for the brown sugar, but for the sugar industry in Nigeria. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The National Orientation Agency says it has been carrying out its mandate of effectively sensitizing Nigerians on government policies and programs, as opposed to the belief that the agency is not fulfilling its assignment. Director General of the NOA, Dr. Garba Abari, stated this while addressing the press on the agency's challenges and the way forward after engaging Nigerians across the Federation on the 2023 general elections, the upcoming National Population and Housing Census, as well as the new Naira policy of government. Here's that report.
According to feedback from field officers, the National Orientation Agency says a large number of Nigerians have wrong perception of the new Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The NOA informed that such feedback was gotten through the use of local languages, traditional and religious leaders, among other measures in communities.
Some people are of the opinion that time allocated for the change of the new Naira note is insufficient, and many people can't meet the deadline. These are all parts of the reports NOA sent by our feedback. Commercial banks were not issuing new Naira notes to the public. As a result, most people in the rural areas said they were yet to see the new redesigned Naira notes.
The NOA DG, who admitted that there is need to redouble efforts towards creating more awareness on the policy, also noted that it has been working with the National Population Commission on the successful conduct of the proposed 2023 census. He said such work was, however, overshadowed by political events associated with the 2023 general elections and assured of continuous sensitization of Nigerians on the exercise.
There are many young Nigerians who are desirous of more information about the census, having not experienced any census since their birth. The last one we had was in 2006. Many want to know the exact period of the exercise. How long is it going to last? Some Nigerians have preconceived notion about the concept of census. They believe it is a political activity meant to ensure and to enhance political advantage. And this must have to be counter-narrated. Many sought explanation on the concept of digital census, which is being promoted as the main feature of the planned exercise.
The NOA says with challenges of funding and budgetary limits to carry out its mandate, the need to constantly interpret and explain government policies and programs for the benefit of the people who the policies are meant to serve will provide a better understanding and encourage acceptability. He called on the media to ensure responsible reportage as the country conducts the general elections, the National Population and Housing Census, and also implements the Naira redesign policy. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. We take a short break. We'll be back shortly.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Fellow Nigerians, God has once again brought us to another season of general elections across the country. I am therefore calling on all of you to exercise your franchise in a peaceful atmosphere. I am calling on specifically our traditional rulers, religious leaders, and parents to warn their followers and wards alike to not allow themselves to be used by a few to foment trouble. I want to assure you that the government has taken adequate security measures to allow everyone to come out and cast their votes. I am therefore appealing to everyone to give them the necessary support. Fellow Nigerians, I want to use this opportunity to once again thank you for electing me to be your president on 2 occasions. I am not a contestant in this election, but my party, the All Progressive Congress, has a candidate in the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As I mentioned before, Tinubu is a true believer in Nigeria, who loves the people and the development of our country. I am calling on all of you to vote Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is reliable, and I trust he will build on our achievements. Finally, I want to once again assure you that I am fully aware of the current hardship you are facing as a result of some policies of the government which are meant to bring overall improvement to the country. I am appealing to you to exercise further patience as we take appropriate measures to ease these hardships. God willing, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Welcome back. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. It's time to take some business news, and our best bet is today, Chamun Dabeng for Business News Day.
According to a Central Bank of Nigeria report, the total quantity of money in circulation in the Nigerian economy has decreased from 3.3 trillion naira to 1.54 trillion naira as a result of the naira redesign policy. The policy has led to hardship and pain due to a severe lack of new naira notes and an acute shortage of old cash, leaving a number of individuals stuck. This led to protests across the country with attendant destruction of property, especially bank offices. In particular, the amount of money in circulation decreased from 3.3 trillion naira on October 31st, 2022 to 1.54 trillion naira on January 31st, 2023, following massive deposits of old 1,000, 500 and 200 naira notes made by bank clients prior to CBN's contentious deadline of February 10, 2023. The CNC decreased by 53.33%. Latest updates released on Monday show that the NNPC Limited has a total of 1.805 billion litres of PMS stock, representing 805.35 million litres in all the land depots nationwide and 1,000.2 million litres on marine vessels, which is equivalent to 30.09 days sufficiency. An additional PMS of 884 million litres is also expected into the country by 28 February 2023. For March 2023, a total of 2.3 billion litres of PMS is expected into the country, while 2.5 billion litres, which is equivalent to 42 days sufficiency, will be the closing stock for the month. NNPCL says it will continue to ensure the availability of petroleum products across the nation. The Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, NEPZA, says preparations are being made to ease the country's free trade zones and businesses that operate within them to be listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. President of NEPZA, Adesoji Adesugba, disclosed this at a meeting with the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, in Abuja. He said NEPZA was working with the Lagos Free Zone LFZ, the Nigeria Economic Zones Association, NZA, and the capital regulator, SEC, to achieve it. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Chamun always brings the update and analysis. Thank you, Chamun, for that report. Nigeria has been chosen by the heads of state and government of the Sahel Region Climate Commission, SRCC, to host the Secretariat of the Sahel Climate Fund. According to a statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, this was contained in a communique issued at the end of the second conference of heads of state and government of SRCC held on the margins of the 36th AU Summit. Garba said the group also approved the appointment of Isifi Bourem of Niger Republic as the Executive Secretary of the Commission. Bourem, until his appointment, was a coordinator of the transitory operational framework of the Commission. His appointment is for a non-renewable period of 3 years without the possibility of candidacy for future terms of office. President Muhammadu Buhari had declared Nigeria's interest to host the headquarters of the Sahel Climate Fund and readiness to provide all necessary amenities. The United States has announced new funding for Turkey and pledged to provide longer-term help as Ankara seeks to rebuild following this month's earthquake. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made the announcement when he arrived in Turkey for an official visit. He took a helicopter ride with Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu to observe the devastation caused by the earthquake in the southern Hatay province, one of the hardest hit. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Turkey's southeast and neighboring Syria on February the 6th, killing more than 46,000 people and leaving 1 million plus people homeless, with the economic cost of the disaster expected to run into billions of dollars. Almost 2 weeks after the earthquake, search and rescue operations are coming to an end, but Blinken said the United States would continue to help in what he said would be a long-term effort. Blinken also said that President Joe Biden intends to authorize $50 million in emergency refugee and migration assistance funds, IRMA, in response to earthquake in Turkey and Syria.
Today I can announce that we will be putting in another $100 million to assist those who are so desperately in need. Humanitarian Assistance Fund that the State Department and USAID have, and that will be moving soon. At the same time, we are working in very close collaboration with our Turkish colleagues, both to understand all of the needs and to find ways to deliver on them.
Jason Tatum scored an all-star game record 55 points to lead Team Giannis to a 184-175 victory over Team LeBron in the NBA's annual showcase. The Boston Celtics forward Tatum was named Most Valuable Player MVP as he broke the previous record of 52 points set by Anthony Davis in 2017. Opposition captain LeBron James missed the second half after injuring the little finger of his right hand. Tatum's Celtics teammate Jaylen Brown led Team LeBron with 35 points and a game-high 14 rebounds, while James exited on 13 points after hitting his finger against the rim while trying to block a shot. Los Angeles Lakers star James now shares the All-Star selections record of 19 with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but defeat in Salt Lake City on Sunday was his first of 6 All-Star games as captain. And for more sports, it's time now to join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
Nigerian #1 male badminton player Anuoluwa Okpeyori has won his third African title in a space of 5 years to assert himself as Africa's undisputable champion. His latest victory came in South Africa after beating Mauritius' Julian Paul 18-21, 21-13, 21-18 to win gold in the men's singles at the All-African Senior Badminton Championship. It was a tough one for Okpeyori as Nigerian delegation was not on ground due to no issuance of travel visa to 4 out of the 10-man team. The affected players were Aliyu Shehu, Dorcas Adeshokon, Sofiat Obanishola and Ramat Yakubu. With his latest win, Okpeyori has added 2 titles won in Port Harcourt, Nigeria in 2019 and Kampala, Uganda in 2022. He had also won the men's singles title at the African Games in Morocco in 2019 to make it 4 titles in 5 years. This is the second time in recent years that the Nigerian contingent to All-African Senior Championship will have problems regarding visas. The first was when the team was traveling to Egypt for All-African Senior Championships in 2020. Oluwapo Okoyori in the 2022 edition arrived Uganda as the sole participant from Nigeria and went all the way to clinch the men's singles gold medal, becoming King of African Badminton for the second time after his feat in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. And in beach volleyball, Kada teams on Sunday scooped all the available trophies to be crowned champions of the 2022 President Beach Volleyball Cup in Kaduna State. The 5-day event played at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna attracted top beach volleyball players in Nigeria. In the men's category, Kada Kings emerged first after beating Nigerian Customs Service 2-0, 21-14, 21-16, while Kada Stars came in third position. Kada Emirates surprisingly defeated Nigerian Customs Service 2-1, 21-14, 12-21 and 15-13 to emerge women's champion, while Hassel Queens beat Niger Ravens 2-0, 21-12, 21-12 in the third place match. In the under-17 boys category, Kada Prince placed first position. Pro Spikers finished second, while Samba Boys came third. Kada Princess emerged first, followed by Katsina Spikers, who came second, while Philcom VC finished third. That's Sport News. I am Adeniyi Ajishafe.
Beach volleyball, pretty exciting to watch. Thank you, Adeniyi Ajishafe, for bringing us up to date on sports. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV News Hour. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. From all of us here, I'm Eugenia Abu. Good evening.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.